July of 2024, I secured one of the first Tacoma Trailhunters to land in the United States. I was following the progression of these trucks so closely that I was even traveling around to Overland Expos to get chances to talk to the engineers. And based off of the 800,000 people that tuned in for the 4 videos I released before even owning the truck, I knew I wasn't alone in my anticipation. Toyota was finally doing some interesting stuff with their truck lineup again, and I wanted to be part of it. After briefly using the truck in its stock form, it was time to start making some changes. I had a grand vision for the Expedition truck that I wanted to build. And this was no short-sighted plan. To put this into context, I wanted to build a Tacoma since the 3rd generation launched in 2016. But life and challenges got in the way, and I was never able to do so. But flash forward several years, and my patience paid off. I installed the Kuat bed rack and Zargus cases with mounts from the mounting company, and then I immediately set out to use the truck. Running an open bed for a while would give me insights into how many of my viewers utilize their trucks. But after some exploring, testing new products, and even testing the towing capabilities of this new platform, it was time to move on to the next stage, a plan that I've been working on for what feels like forever. And I seriously can't believe that I pulled this off.
Hey guys, Tyler with Independence Overland, and today I'm going to unveil my big project that I've been working on for several years now. There's been a lot of parts moving in the background, and this has taken a lot for me to pull off. My patrons have known about this for about a year and a half, so I just want to touch on something real quick. All of the brands that I worked with last year, Kuat Racks, Charvonia Designs, Tie Downs, and Mountain Hatch USA, those companies knew what I was doing. I told them, I was very upfront with them on what my long-term plan was, but I do still believe in those companies. There's nothing against those. This was the big plan all along. I just wanted to get my new truck out and use it for the season, and you'll see in a minute why I couldn't just do this ahead of time and just use it like this from the get-go. There's a lot going on here. A lot of people ask me why I went to a Tacoma, because it's built in Mexico and it's not Japanese and it's not the FJ and yada yada. I understand all that. There's a reason I wanted a truck, and that was for the rear half of this thing, because that is the important part of it for me. And now I have put all these pieces together. The truck finally came. I was able to get the truck down to get some custom work done, and we're here now. Okay, so enough talking about all of that. Let's dive into what I've built here. Here's the big moment. I'm so excited, and I'm also nervous about showing you guys this because it's been a secret for so long. And I was so scared that it was gonna get out. I have a rendering that I'm gonna share on this video. This is a big deal for me. All right, so let's do this.
In June of 2023, a full year before acquiring my Trailhunter, I wanted to get in line for something that I've been in love with since the first day I saw it at an Overland Expo. Something that I felt could take a micro camper and add an incredible amount of functionality to that tiny platform. And that is a Bowen Customs topper bed. The truck certainly looked badass like this for a few months, but this was not the final phase. This truck was destined for an Alu-cab. And when it came to this build, it felt like the right thing to do was to head down to Tactical Application Vehicles in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Their incredible builds with these beds put Bowen Customs on the map for a lot of people, including myself. TAV was also one of the first Alu-cab dealers in North America, so they were the perfect shop to combine these two pieces of hardware together for me. Over the course of the past few years, I've learned a lot about TAV. Their knowledge of building expedition trucks is second to none. The fact that they built some of the most insane overland vehicles I've ever seen meant that the Alu-cab mod cap install would be a breeze for their shop's skill set. But now I have the truck back at home, so let's dive into some of the details.
Okay, so here is my truck. This is the first 4th gen Tacoma to have a Bowen Customs bed, and it might be, I don't know, it might be one of the only ones that ends up with it. It's not a flatbed, it is a bed replacement. So the rails on this thing are the factory height rails. So there's nothing different about my Alu cab than it would be for anybody else that was gonna buy one of these things. It's identical. The only thing I have is I have extra storage on the side. As you can see, my bed is much wider than what the factory bed is, but on the factory bed, there's a lot of dead space. Now, I'm not gonna dive too far into the bed right now. I already filmed a whole video before the camper was installed, and I will go more into details on that. So if you want to see that, it will be coming up in the coming weeks, and drop a comment below if you do want to see that, and I'll prioritize that over the Alu cab if I get more feedback on it. So ever since I met Walt Wagner down at Tactical Application Vehicles, I met him at an Overland Expo, one of the first videos I did that really popped off. Man, he had such a cool Tacoma, still has such a cool Tacoma, and it had the first prototype of this bed on there for a 6-foot bed. His is crazy, it's on 37s, long travel. Those guys specialize in that kind of stuff. But when I saw that bed at the time, I thought there's no way I could ever pull that off. And somehow or another I did. And mine is, of course, the 5-foot bed. And I didn't want to get into the 6-foot bed on this generation truck. I'd planned on it. So in the rendering you're gonna see, I actually do have it done with the 6-foot bed. And that rendering is done by Box Rocket Designs. You can reach out to him if you have any projects that you want to get done. But I wanted to see what this thing was gonna look like so I could really think about it. I didn't want to do a flatbed. Even though those look great, they have tons of functionality. You can drive out from underneath the camper or the canopy. I didn't want to do that personally. I wanted something that was going to have a lower center of gravity because the floor is lower, because again, this is the same as a factory bed is. And I also wanted something to where I could get inside of it on a cold night like what tonight's going to be, and I can have some heat. And you just can't do that with the canopies. I did get out and go do a little bit of wheeling and keeping up with a long travel Tacoma on 37-inch tires. You know, he definitely did better than I did out there, but I was getting used to the weight of the truck. I still have the factory suspension on here. I've got airbags in the rear. I am gonna get some Dobinson springs on the way because it does need a little more lift. The airbags that I have are actually for an FJ and they're not quite long enough, but I will be doing proper suspension. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on suspension stuff on this truck, and the reason I've been waiting is because I knew I was gonna have to trade it up when I got to this point. Okay, so the bed. I know a lot of you are gonna have questions about this thing. It was very expensive. I will touch on the details of this thing in another video. I just wanted to do the big unveiling of this project right now because I need to do other projects on this. I have other videos that are gonna come out on this, and I've got tons of pictures and stuff that I've taken, and it's just time to let the cat out of the bag. But I will tell you right now that it's within about 50 pounds of the factory bed. It looks heavier than that, but the reason is it's all aluminum. The composite stuff, the body of the thing, of the factory bed, and then the tail lights, the tailgate, the bumper, all that stuff adds up. I did go and weigh this thing, and from the factory weight with the factory tires, and I believe I still had the ARB rack on there at the time, in the factory bed, of course. This weighs 110 pounds more than it did. And I'm not talking about the camper, just the bed. It weighs 110 pounds more with the 35s and the bed on it than when it did when I took it when it was a factory setup, which is incredible. The tires are honestly most of that weight. So I weighed it myself. This isn't based off of what manufacturers told me. I went to the same scale and weighed it, wrote it down. So what I've been wanting to build is a production vehicle that can still go on the trails and stuff. I didn't want to go full size. I know I'm gonna see that stuff in the comments. I just didn't want to do that. This is what I wanted to build, so this is what I'm building. I wanted to expand the capabilities of the truck, and this bed is definitely gonna do that. So the big thing with this bed is that this is sealed off. Bone Customs does multiple different types of campers. They do flatbeds, they do bed replacements like this. Some of their bed replacements are designed to take on a slide-in camper. This is not that. This was specifically designed for a topper. So I could pull this off and put like a Go Fast on it or something like that, but I wanted to do the Alu cab thing for a very long time. I've gone into Alu cab on various videos. That FJ Cruiser sitting over there, that thing has been, that tent has just been so reliable, and the wind ramps over it. It's super durable. I love that thing. And in my eyes, I wasn't gonna go any other way. This is what I wanted to do. This is gonna hold up better on the trails. It's modular, and we'll dive into that in another video because I will be doing a full-on Alu cab mod cab video, because while there are videos out on these things, I feel that there is a gap in some of the information and some of the details on them. When I first saw these, I was like, man, that is the answer. The back door on it is just so cool. The water tanks, everything. And now that they released the updated mod cap with the windows, you can get them with or without windows. I wanted that because I know Natalia, my wife, is going to love that. I just thought that this was going to be a match made in heaven. So Bone Customs is the company building these, but It's in collaboration with Walt Wagner originally. Going from seeing that truck and falling in love with it at the Overland Expo West, I'm so proud to say that this truck will be in the Tactical Application Vehicles booth at Overland Expo West in Flagstaff for 2025, and it will also be in their booth for the Mountain West Show in Loveland, Colorado later this fall. This will also be featured at Overland of America. I will be a storyteller again this year, and my video is going to feature this truck, of course. And so if you want to check this thing out, you can come to any of those shows and see me. Aside from that, I'm not planning on going to any shows. This year, I want to get out and use this as much as I can rather than jumping around to different expos. The cool thing about this bed is that this was built in Colorado, so it's just a couple hours from me. I was on a waiting list for a very long time. Part of that was because of the Trailhunter. I was waiting on the truck to show up. But another thing about these is that these beds, if you order one, you're gonna be waiting like a year for it at least. I've heard stories of people waiting for literally years for them. And I was lucky enough to have my name on the list before I ever got the truck. So when I got the truck, they told me down at Bone, they're like, hey man, we're ready for you. And I didn't think it was gonna be happening so quick. I kind of thought like, oh, I needed the truck, they're gonna take measurements, and then a year later, it would be ready to go or something. They said I was at the top of the list, so they got me in and they built it. This is the first of this kind. They've built these for previous generation Tacomas, but this is obviously a different frame, a different everything. So it took a little bit of work and took a little bit of magic. I think it looks great personally. It looks very like an expedition truck, but also there's a few things I have found on it where I'm like, why the hell did they do that? But you can watch the other video to find out about all that good stuff. So built in America. So we already went over this cabinet here. This is basically going to be like a drink station, food station, because this is the side that will be easiest to get to from the rear door of the Alu cab. And then down here, this is extra storage. And then this is my Trailhunter air compressor that I installed in here. And again, I will be putting videos out on some of that stuff. Those are all things I couldn't show because of the bed, and I've been keeping this secret, but I did relocate my Trailhunter air compressor into here. I think it turned out pretty cool. So I will be using the factory compressor. I did get that warranted finally, and Toyota was pretty stoked about this bed as well. As far as the Alu cab goes, again, I will be doing a full video on this. I love the Alu cab stuff. I've been dreaming of having one of these for so long. It is such a cool setup. I'm working on some different things with this. I have paper cutouts of my Red Arc stuff going on my goose gear plate in there. I don't have an interior right now. I'm not planning on doing an interior too soon, I don't think. So I've got an Xpion 360 battery that's going into this. I'm putting 162 amp hours into this bad boy. I'm doing a Red Arc BCDC charger, the Alpha line, and then I'm gonna be doing the Rogue system as well as like the Red Vision controller. I'm gonna do some GoFlux lighting on the inside of these cabinets and then on my awning. So I've got tons of modifications that are coming to this. There's a lot of work to get done for me before the camping season really starts. It's officially spring, but here in Colorado, it still isn't open for a while. I didn't get as much done on this winter as I wanted to just because of that delay of the truck bed coming. So now I've got to make up for lost time, and my weekends are going to be dedicated to installing stuff in this. I've got more interior mods coming because, again, this is the same truck as everybody else has, and then this Alu cab is the same as everybody else has. So I will be doing some videos on modifications to the Alu cab, and so if you have one of these, it'll be no different for you to install some of this stuff. All right, let's jump around to the back side of this truck because it's pretty cool looking too. So as you can see, this thing has got a big booty on it. So what this actually is this is the width of the old fenders on the rear end of it. It's an optical illusion, but it's actually, obviously the bed's wider, but the vehicle's not actually wider, which is interesting. But they bring it all the way out, and then on the fenders on here, this is adjustable to where I did pull it out as far as I could. I'm probably gonna put some mud flaps on the back of this. Unfortunately, with the new Toyotas, the hitch receiver is welded on. You can no longer remove that. So I do have some low-hanging fruit. I'm gonna build a skid plate of sorts for that. I'm not ready to chop away at my frame. I know people are gonna suggest that, but I'm just not ready to go there yet. This plate right here just fills in that space. These are getting replaced with Baja Designs lights here soon. They're kind of bright, but those are just like a cheap thing that Bowen puts in there. My camera is mounted here, but the fisheye doesn't really work correctly. So I'm gonna have to do some work there. So as you can see, the factory usable space is to here. That much space, which is probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches, all the way to the front of the bed, and that's to the very front of the bed. Man, it gains so much space. And the fact that that's a pass-through cabinet is so functional. These boxes here behind the taillight, these attach, and those are replaceable. So if I cave those in with a rock, I can buy another one, they can ship me one. I think that that is super cool. Obviously, the Alu cab, the spare tire mounts to the door, that's something I really wanted, and especially with this type of build, Otherwise, you got to put that in the bed or have a custom bumper made that would somehow attach down here. Somebody could do it, but it would cost big money. I have also thought about having an aluminum bumper made for this portion right here just to take hits on the frame. So if there's anybody out there that might be interested in doing that in Colorado, let me know. It'd probably be a next winter project because I'm just ready to use this thing. I have the ARB factory recovery points back here. Those are real beefy. I like the look of them, so I'm keeping those. For the fireplace molly mount, I went through and cut this off today actually because this needs more space for a 35. This door is designed for a 33-inch tire. So in order to utilize this, you got to cut it. So I just went ahead and chopped that up before I even mounted it up. My cuts are pretty straight. I could touch that up a little bit, but I wanted to have some space here. So if I'm doing recoveries or something, or we're doing a big river crossing again at some point in the future, which will happen, then I could maybe put some quick fists on here for that trip and have like a recovery rope there ready to go, something like that. There's different functions with that there. I do have the GP Factor propane mount here. So moving on from there, I did get the awning, of course, and the shower cube on the other side of the camper. And then once I have this thing built up, then I'll do another video following up on all the details, and I'll do a full walk around on the thing. And I'm sure it'll change over the course of time because I've always done that. The FJ is sitting over there. Yes, I still have it. The FJ has gone through several iterations over its lifetime. It's just I did a lot of that before I had the channel. So you guys are gonna see this thing slightly change over time. No big stuff. I just wanna get out and enjoy this. This is such a dream build for me. So I built this because obviously I have the channel. It makes some income. It's not a huge income, but I needed a better way to live out of a vehicle. There's cool projects that I've been dreaming of doing for quite a while, and I needed the right vehicle for it because the FJ is very small. It's a very capable vehicle, but it's also small and it is worn out. That thing needs some love. It needs an engine. It hasn't blown yet, but it's burning oil. I know I get all sorts of stuff from you guys on, hey, the FJ was cool. I know it's cool. It's sitting right there right now, and in this lighting, it looks great. But it's not perfect for everything. I've had it for a very long time. I drove that for 15 years. The FJ is still gonna show up in videos. I've still got plenty of stuff coming out. I've got a video coming out before too long with the FJ, but it needs some love before I can really trust it. I wouldn't take it back to Mexico or something like that at this point. Of course, I gotta have issues with this too, but anyway, you get my point. So there's gonna be a lot of modifications coming to this truck, but you've seen the big ones. I need to get suspension coming. That will be coming this week. And aside from that, I've got a bunch of work ahead. I'll save some of the little details for other videos. I am so happy to have gotten to work with TAV on this project. Seriously, a dream come true to get to use their expertise on installing this. And I just hang out with them at all the expos at this point. They've become friends. I played hacky sack with them. Anybody that can play hacky sack's cool in my book. Those guys aren't just doing big expedition trucks. You don't have to have all of this for them to do anything for you. Watching them install this, Walt's brother Josh, his attention to detail is phenomenal. I was watching some of the things happening with the techs and stuff, and he's running that shop, and I was just blown away by some of it. They were LS swapping a Land Cruiser while I was there, an old 80 series, and man, just seeing that kind of stuff, I'm like, this shop has its shit together. Whether you want to get an Alu Cab canopy camper or you want to get just a rooftop tent, lights wired up, even if you just want to get skid plates put on, that shop does more than just the crazy expedition builds. That's kind of what they're known for, and that's their specialty thing. That knowledge trickles down into little things, like when they put your roof rack on, you know that thing's not going to rattle loose in time. I took my water tank out of this today to put insulation back behind the tank, and they had installed that for me before I got there. They put anti-seize on every single bolt. They're stainless steel bolts. It's like such a small thing where they understand how this stuff goes together. They've done so much of this. I just want to give them a shout out. I have nothing but respect for that crew. Super cool stuff that's going on down there. And as you can tell, super cool stuff that's going on here. So I've got a lot more work to do. It's starting to get cold outside and I've not put my heater on yet. So I'm gonna get to some other stuff, but there's gonna be a lot more videos coming on this in the future. Again, come see me at Overland Expo West at the Tactical Application Vehicles booth. Can't believe I'm saying that I get to be in that booth. So cool. It's always the coolest vehicles at the show. I'll be with them for the Mountain West show in Loveland, Colorado this fall, and the Overland of America show. I will be a featured storyteller. So if you guys want to come and check this thing out, please come and see me, talk to Walt, talk to the team, and check this truck out. This thing is just gonna get cooler. This is gonna be awesome. I'm so excited to finally share this with you guys. I'm so pumped about this. So if you wanna see details on the bed, that's coming. If you wanna see details on the camper, that's coming. There's gonna be more modifications coming for the Tacoma that will apply to anybody that owns a 4th gen Tacoma. It'll cross-pollinate, of course, aside from factory bed mods, which I didn't plan on doing much of anyway. And so if you want to see some of that stuff, subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to be doing more mods as time goes on. I'm still going to be testing products and stuff. It's pretty much the same thing, only it's a new vehicle and a new setup. All right, happy spring, guys, and let me know in the comments below what you think about this truck and what I've done here. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.
As always, thank you so much for watching, and click one of the videos in the corner to check out more of our adventure, off-road, and overland related content.